So recently, something I reported on in about 2 weeks made it mainstream finally. Ah, man, I'm trying to tell you, I can't understand this stuff. We gotta get this channel bigger or something. Anyway, so something I reported on about 2 weeks ago finally made it to the mainstream. And Lawyers for Workers decided to speak on it. So, yeah. We had an actual lawyer repeat something that I said about 2 weeks ago. Can't script this shit. Me and the Notification Gang would like to invite everybody to come join us Monday through Thursday, 9:20 to 10 o'clock for morning coffee, where we discuss the events of the prior day and also just talk mess about stuff. See you then. Hey, don't forget to check out the link of the day in the description. BBN, Jack Frost. What's up, party people? Yeah. So recently, as everybody knows, Vlad TV did an interview. And in this particular interview, which I am not going to name who he was talking to because my video will be demonetized. In this particular interview, he was speaking with someone about the Tekashi case, and they also spoke about actual paperwork that, if the paperwork's actually been out for a couple of weeks, and not for nothing, the part of the paperwork that he actually spoke on, I think I did like 2 videos regarding this so far. So, shout out to Vlad. I mean, either he's real thorough with reading the paperwork like we all over here at the BBN, or, he's a fan of the channel. I'm a fan of your channel too, Vlad. Shout out to Vlad. Anyway, so, what we're gonna do is, Lawyers for Workers, as everybody know, everybody calls him like the Tekashi lawyer now, because he's been really following the case closely. He's also do other things on his IG, also other cases on his IG. You might want to look into that. He's pretty interesting. He's pretty entertaining. Anyway, so we're gonna listen to what Lawyers for Workers have to say real quick, and then I'm gonna come back with my commentary.
People, a lot of blogs saying that he has agreed to cooperate and give all this information about crimes that he committed and other crimes that they didn't even know about, and in exchange they're not going to prosecute and he's not going to do any time and he's going to walk. That's all false. Basically, they're not reading the transcript right. There was a transcript that's been released by Complex. Complex acquired that transcript, don't know how, and they put it out there, and in it there's a line where the prosecutor says, if Tekashi agrees to do this and cooperate with this and tell us this, then we won't prosecute. What's really happening there is people are misinterpreting the transcript. Sometimes lawyers in court will use a word like that and not really mean what they say. So if you actually look at the very next page of the transcript, he clarifies and says that, the defendant is pleading guilty to 9 crimes and the judge will set a sentence based on all the factors, including, pre-trial sentencing report from probation and letters from the government as well as other people. So a lot of
Alright, so as we just heard him say once again, and this is why I say I'm never knocking anybody else. All right, I'm not real big on knocking other channels, but I've mentioned this more than once. I've mentioned actually basically what Lawyers for Workers just said. I said, look, the paperwork says, and just so we could be clear, there's a line in the paperwork that says, if the defendant does this, the office, and this is detailed on pages 4 and 5 of the agreement, agrees not to prosecute the defendant for the crime set forth in counts 1 through 9 of the superseding information as the additional crimes that the defendant has told the government. Now, he's already pled guilty. All right, so one of the things that Lawyers for Workers was trying to explain is they don't let you take back guilty pleas that often. It's not something that's really done. Do you understand what I'm saying? So in order for them to not prosecute him for something that he's already pled guilty for, the state and the judge would then have to come into agreement, or the government and the judge would still have to come into agreement with each other that they're going to allow for him to take back his guilty plea. This is not unheard of. Just so we can be clear on this. I just want to make sure that we're clear on all the points before I move forward. At least on my perspective of how it reads. So when you have people saying he's going to serve no time, that's not 100% accurate. Okay? Let's just be clear on that. Okay, so like I said, the agreement says if the defendant does this, the office, and this is detailed in pages 4 or 5 of the agreement, agrees not to prosecute the defendant for the crime set forth in counts 1 through 9 of the superseding information, as well as additional crimes that the defendant has told the government about. Now, do everybody remember when 50 Cent said he's telling on everybody? He's talking about stuff that isn't even in the indictment. Remember when 50 Cent said that? Now, let me explain something. Basically, the government came to Tekashi, and most likely, I'm just saying, just my opinion, I could be wrong. Most likely, the government came to the Tekashi after Tekashi agreed to, tell whatever he knew. And the government says this. They say, okay, so here's the deal. Bang. You want this deal, you're going to have to give us enough for us to think that you've earned this deal. You don't want to go to jail? We don't even want you. I've been telling people, sidebar, for a second. I've been telling people for the longest that the government does not want Tekashi. Tekashi is an entertainer. They want actual criminals. They want actual drug dealers. They want actual murderers. They want actual gangsters. They do not want Tekashi. Okay, maybe there's a whole bunch of white kids in middle America that think that Tekashi is the baddest, most gangsterous. He's ready to put a cap in that ass dude that they've ever seen in their life. But anybody who has ever spent any real time around real gangsters, around real people that commit real crimes, know that Tekashi, I'm sorry to say this, but he's a follower. He is. That is what it is. There's no getting around that. I'm not knocking him for being that. That's how he makes, he's in a position where he makes a lot of money. So whatever the way in which he was before he decided to get himself in the position to be locked up, you can't knock it. It is what it is. Anyway, so when the government comes to him and tells him what the government most likely told him, Tekashi then, if you take what 50 Cent is saying literally, not only told them about what's actually in the indictment, but started telling them more things because that wasn't enough for him to go free. 9 times out of 10, he told them everything that was in the indictment. Right? Everything he knew about that he could speak on new information about. And then they said, you know what? Maybe he still got to do 10 years. And then Tekashi says, you know what? I know about some other stuff. So when I say, because I've said this previously on different videos, that when it's time for his sentencing to come, what I believe that they're going to do is they're going to look at how he's already helped the government's case against whoever they're trying to prosecute. And then, for everybody that knows, the feds work with a point system. So for whoever they're trying to prosecute, they're going to look at the government's case. They're going to see how he helped the government. And then it's determined. It's what the judge determines. Because let's say the government says, you know what? He did everything we asked him to do. We want to allow for him to take back this plea of guilty. The judge can still say no. The judge can still say, nope, I am not allowing you to take back any pleas of anything. I'm going to sentence him. Bang! 10 years. 15 years. The judge can still do this. So what I believe Lawyers for Work is telling people is, it's not a certainty. He's not saying that it's not possible. He's saying people are speaking about it like it's an afterthought. It is not an afterthought. The government can go back on whatever deal they said they was going to make and just decide, we don't care if you did everything we asked you to do. We still don't want to take back your guilty plea. The government can still do this. The judge can decide he don't care what he did. He still got to serve time for his crimes. So that's what I believe. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not in this Lawyers for Workers' head. But that's what I believe Lawyers for Workers is saying. And I agree with him. Because that's literally what I said. Like, I believe in the snitching, the first snitching, or there was, no, matter of fact, there was a video I did before the snitching. I believe it was a live, one of the lives that I do at night. It was one of the Tonight shows. And I believe I basically said the same thing, that the government can just decide to give him whatever amount of time they want to give him because now he's working to help them. It don't make sense. Anyway, let me know what y'all guys think about this. It's crazy that I keep explaining the same thing over and over and over again. And then even when other content creators, do talk about similar things, and I'm not just talking about this particular situation, but even when other content creators talk about similar things and they try to put their own little spin on it, it seems like what I've been saying always seems to come out to be the thing that happens. And so I'm not saying this to knock anybody, because everybody should put their own spin on whatever. I mean, I would be a fraud if I got up here and every time I made a video, I just copied somebody else's video word for word. I would be a fraud. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm happy that nobody is copying me word for word. Please don't do that. I appreciate y'all for tuning in as usual. But it's kind of dope when you can realize that other content creators, respect your work. So I'm not knocking nobody. Shout out to everybody. Leave it down in the comments. I want to know what y'all guys think about that. Once again, I am personally not saying that he's getting off scot-free. I am not saying that. But I am saying that he's working with the government in order to have a favorable decision for him. He's trying to get a favorable decision in the courts on January 24th or 24th, right? So he's trying to get a favorable decision, January 24th, 2020. So that's why he's doing what he's doing. And I don't know. Leave it down in the comments, like I said. Like, comment, subscribe, join the notification gang. Hashtag Bronx Bombers. Let's get it. I love y'all. Take care of each other. Hug the kids for me. I haven't forgotten about you. And that's all I got on this one. I'm out. If you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. If you would like to help dictate the direction that this channel takes, please leave a comment. All comments are appreciated, whether positive or negative. Thank you very much and enjoy your day. And remember, positive thoughts cause for positive things to happen. Let's get it.